Chair. Kate, could you tell us what you think success will look like in 1 year's time for the Commission? And in particular for both of you, do you think you've got the balance right between the promotion of the nighttime venues and so on with the interests of local residents who may be affected by antisocial behaviour, often linked to excess alcohol consumption? And following on the questions that Susan Hall was asking you, Amy, about your night surgeries, you've told us about surgeries which aren't really for residents. The Midtown is a business one. The Ace Cafe is mainly for bikers. When was how many meetings you've actually had with residents? And are your meetings with residents published in advance so people know they're coming? In particular, your night surgeries. Where do people find out in advance that you're doing them? So if they want to talk to you, they can.
Yes. Would you like me to start? I think we have I've been a member of the Commission since the start, so I've been working on the Commission since October and took over as chair in April. And we've mapped out a programme of activity for the remainder of this year, which will allow us to deliver a report to the Mayor's Office and to the Night Tsar by the end of the year, setting out our recommendations for translating the Mayor's vision for a 24-hour city into practice. And one of the first things that we did as a Commission and spent the first meeting debating was, what were we looking at as a Commission? And we were quite clear that we were not the Nighttime Economy Commission, we were the Mayor's Nighttime Commission, and we were looking at how Londoners experience London at night in all its various facets, as Amy described. So our vision is broader than just the nighttime economy, and it is to make sure that we have recommendations that are coming through to translate the vision into practical steps, toolkits for action that can be taken by local boroughs, but also by local residents to make sure that their high street, their town centre, their neighbourhood, their community works for them in practice, and that we have vibrant, diverse, accessible night times in London for all Londoners, and that we have a practical set of recommendations that will impact on the lives of everyday Londoners and residents within the city. So just picking up also on Susan's point, when I did take on the role and sort of step forward from being a commissioner to chairing, and my role is very different to Philip's because I am there to make sure we drive forward the work of the Commission and to very practically address the steps that we were doing and take the work forward that he'd started. We did pick up, and I've had 3 meetings with the Deputy Mayor for Culture and Creative Industries, particularly picking up on Philip's 3 concerns that he had about his role and the work of the Nighttime Commission. Particularly keen to make sure that when I stepped forward to the role of chair and my deputy chair, Ramel Mosley, that we had the support we needed to deliver the work programme that the Commission was asking for and that the Mayor needed and the time frame. We have got that additional support. I have had 3 meetings with the Deputy Mayor to make sure that we've got the reassurances that the Commissioners need, all 26 of them, to continue the work programme and to take that forward. So additional administrative support, additional support in writing, additional support in research. The minutes are as up-to-date as we've got them. That's my fault. I haven't had time to assess the minutes of the May meeting to make sure that the team who are supporting us from the GLA can put them online, but they are as up-to-date as we can get them, and there's a commitment to make sure that the Commission's work is fully transparent. So I'm fully confident, and I wouldn't have taken the post otherwise, that we have the reassurances that we will have the support we need, and that now, post the local elections, that we will have the profile that we need to take that work forward.
Amy?
Assemblymember Dismore, could you just repeat the question, please?
Yeah, it's quite straightforward. It's asking how many meetings you've had with residents, bearing in mind that the surgeries you mentioned, one was in Midtown, which wasn't for residents, it was for business, and the forthcoming one at the Ace Cafe is primarily, I think, for bikers,
yes,
which is not the same as meeting residents, for example, along the Northern Line, from where I get regular complaints, particularly at weekends. So
yes.
What meetings have you had with residents? And in relation to meetings with residents, how are they published in advance so people know that you're doing them?
Yes. So night surgeries are usually publicised on our my social media channels, and we make every effort to ensure that there's balanced representation in the night surgeries that we do put together. We realise that certain communities need more intense specialist night surgeries. For example, the night surgery I conducted in conjunction with the SIA And that was because we had word that there were some difficulties that security were facing in getting their licenses renewed. So
I'm sorry, that's not dealing with residents. I'm asking you about dealing with residents, not all the commercial interests or special interests. And you're talking about a balanced event. Balancing what with what? I mean, residents don't need balancing. They often need answers to the particular problems that they're facing.
I had an excellent meeting
as a result of the nighttime economy.
I had an excellent meeting with Sleepless Brixton, and I've been working with the local MP and local councillors, the borough champions in Lambeth, to address the issues concerning residents and noise in that area.
Anywhere else?
Yes, I've met with the Jago residents group, which is in Hackney, yes, and Tower Hamlets, Shoreditch area. I've also met with the Soho Residents and Businesses Association. So that is a joint effort by businesses and residents to address issues of noise in their area.
Okay. May I just add briefly from the Commission?
Well, I'm running out of time, so I'm going to put another question to you. Okay. And Amy, I think, as well, on the Mayor's vision for the 24-hour London, which sets out 10 principles covering just about everything you can think of, from accessible nightlife to cultural opportunities. How are you going to ensure those principles are not just successfully implemented, but how will you objectively measure your progress? What key performance indicators do you have in relation to those principles?
Yes, well, that's, I'm so glad that you asked that, because I do have a list of all the 29 principles here.
Now, I've got the principles. I want to know what the key performance indicators are by which you're going to measure objectively whether or not you've delivered them.
Well, I can run you through each of the 29 actions that were set out in the blue boxes in the Mayor's 24-hour vision. 20 actions are complete, 9 are in progress. Would you like me to take you through those?
Well, we haven't got time, I'm afraid. If you want to write to us about that, that's fine. But I'm afraid we're out of time. So I think if you write to us with your key performance indicators, that would be helpful.
Certainly.